Shut up and sit down.
Right, so it's had its first coat of paint, which is good. Just darkened down, the tarmac. Some odd little potholes, badly filled by the local authority. This is the removable section. I'll just show you under there. Here's the battery compartment and the wiring for that. There's a slight gap at the moment where I've got a bit of filler drying, but I shall just run a bead of filler along the edge there just to dress that up. And then we got a path and the area where the bus stop comes in, and a few little tufts of grass poking up through the broken paving slabs there. All in all, really simple little diorama that I'm doing on this one. There's the pavement. I extended this piece out because originally it curved just along this edge, but it just looked a bit out of scale compared to the size of the bus, so I've extended it out. Little tiny hole there for the post for the bus stop. So yeah, it's had its first coat. I've left this because I still think the pavement's too dark, so I'm going to lighten that down with a bit of dry brushing. But today's task is to mark out the bus stop, which is going to have your double yellow lines coming round here, and then your staggered yellow lines along there, and probably bus stop written. We'll see how ambitious I get, but that's all I'm doing today, is just marking this out and trying to figure out where I want my lines to be. So without further ado, we'll get this started. It's just a matter of whopping in a bit of Tamiya tape and seeing what we end up with, really. Bearing in mind these were painted by the council, so they won't be the straightest of double yellow lines in the world anyway, but me being me, let's just get a brush on there. I find this a handy way sometimes of laying tape down. It's just a slap a brush on there. Let's not make that too long and unwieldy, because I can go around the corner at my own leisure. That's a bit drunk. Straighten that edge up there. But you've got to take into account the lines that were painted weren't exactly the straightest things you'd ever see, so I aim to sort of get them as near as I can get them to be looking reasonable, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Probably would have been easier with some actual car painting tape, to be honest with you, but who cares? It's a diorama. It's not the end of the world. So hopefully this build's inspired some of you out there to have a go at the bus. All in all, it's been a really enjoyable little build. It's taken a bit longer than I thought it would, for various reasons, life issues, that sort of thing. But it's getting there. Slowly but surely. You know, and this is just a little side stage, really. Because like anything, I don't want the diorama to actually detract from the bus itself. So less is more sometimes with your dios, people. Unless you're doing something like a World War I or II battle scene, then obviously you'll want troop craters, that sort of thing. But for something like this, just a simple street scene will suffice, because you don't want everyone's eyes to be on the dio and not on the actual kit. I'm wondering whether that's going to be enough, you know. Are they going to be a bit out of scale? Because that's just the gap. So that's pretty much what I actually want there. Okay. So let's have a little rethink on that. I think what we'll do is use that as a divider. Yeah. Wasn't happy with that, I'm afraid. So we'll go for plan B. So, if you're not happy, at least at this stage you can take it back up again. Just want to turn that corner just a little bit better than I was. Perfect, don't get me wrong. That'll do for a minute. we end up with now. Yeah, I'm happier. I'm happier now. All will become apparent in a minute. There or thereabouts. I'm doing this with a camera boom in my way, but let's turn that there for a minute. Just to come around that corner a bit better. That's it. Right. I'll do for a minute. Cool. That, my friends, is pretty much what we want on there for a minute. Yeah, not the most accurate. But good enough for me for a minute. And I'll just use a gnarly old brush for this. All we're doing is creating the markings for the bus stop. But at this stage I want it to look as rough as it would in real life. So it's going to have lumps, bumps and crud on it. So don't expect your lines to be perfect, people. You know, if you want them perfect, it's your choice. Who am I? But where I know I'm going to be repainting all the path, I'm not worried about getting anything in the way. Paint here, paint there. It's had a coat of varnish anyway, so I can always take it back. But it's just to create that illusion. That's all we're doing. Create that illusion that someone has come along here and painted these on the road with a fag in his mouth and his little machine. taken all day about it. Stopped at every burger bar, paper shop and whatever on his merry way, because he can. So we can always dull these lines down with a wash if they end up looking a bit too bright. For my first part is getting them on there. Let's get the bloody lines on there and see what we look like. Because it's, bear in mind, this lime paint is really quite thick that they use on the roads. You know, it's not like a nice sexy bit of gloss on a 6-panel wood door. It's pretty lumpy, gloopy stuff that they shove on. So again, brush strokes ain't a problem. The lumpier, the better. For me anyway, because to me it makes it look a bit more authentic. As well. Get in there. I'm just slapping it on there to get it where I want it. All the crooks and nannies. Just to get it started. See how that's looking. Yeah, it's getting there. Okay, so that's my first 2 lines. Looking quite nice. Ish, anyway. So I can now look at masking off where the main one is going to come, round about there. Like so. Use you for the inners. Like so. Let's figure this out then. Go for a nice measure on this. Something you won't often see me do. What do we reckon? I reckon about 6. 6 will do. Nice even number. Probably totally out of scale, so there's going to be some rivet counters out there kicking themselves and screaming and hollering. It should be an accurate representation in life. Yeah, of course it should. Of course it should. But not in mine. Come across a few in my time, I must admit. But each to their own. That's what makes them happy. Who am I to rock the boat? It's just, you know, none of us, you know, and we've all got various grades of ability, you know. And I'm not the best model builder. I like my work. It's, for me personally, I don't enter competitions. That's not really what I'm in it for. I'm in it as therapy for me MS. But, you know, there are amongst our group, Model Makers Boom Hut and Facebook friends, you know, there's a lot of us out there that do this as a hobby. And to have yourself or your work beaten down by some guy that's got nothing better to do than count the amount of rivets on a 1914 bloody World War I mail tank, I'm sorry, but you've put your life and soul into that piece of work, and to have that obnoxious little person rip your work apart just because their rivet counting mindset says their way or no way, I think it's wrong. You know, if you see a kit and you like the look of it, fine. If you go on and you like a paint job for a particular kit and you think, actually, I'd like to do mine that way, then do it. You know, look at my bus. You know, there wasn't a bus going around London with Metallica and AC/DC adverts on it. Not by a long shot. But that's what I like. That's my type of music, that's my type of film, that's my type of thing. And at the end of the day, it's on display in my home. Me, my wife, my family, and people that visit come and see, you know, and you know, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, you know, Routemaster RN232, whatever it was, oh, it only ever had the OXO advert on it. I'm not interested. You know, because at the end of the day, who cares? You know, if it was a competition build and you had to be period accurate, then that's the type of build you would have to do for that competition. Maybe me, I don't do competitions. Those that do, good luck to you. You know, if that's what you want to do. Who am I to question it? I'm a nobody. But my personal preference to display my work at home, I should then be able to defend my work with some rivet count that says, well, actually, that poster wasn't on that bus. I'm going to say, well, I don't give a blind monkeys, mate. It is now, because it's on mine. So, bye-bye. Go and do something else and wind someone else up. Don't bring your petulance around here. Because, you know, that's not, you know, I think that puts a lot of people off model making. Because of that fear of their work being judged as inferior. And it's not. It's not a bloody contest. You know, do your work how you want, what you want, whatever subject matter you want. And if you want to personalise stuff to your particular tastes, then do it. You know, Tony at Helgam 35, he's of a similar nature to me. And I think Fox is as well, where it's a case of, you know, if you want to paint your Nissan Skyline fluorescent pink with red dots on it, then paint it. It's your car, it's your kit, your choice. If that's the choice you make, good for you. You know, this is about enjoyment, this is about fun, this is about looking at ways that you do your modelling and various skill sets. And, you know, we're all learning. You know, some of us are good at certain things, some of us are better at other things than each other. You know, I don't go ringing up Fox and going, oh, it's not fair, you done a better Master Chief than mine. You know, the guy is good at weathering and chipping and stuff like that. You know, when I come to build my Master Chief, it's going to be the first chipping job I've ever done. So it won't be as good as Mike's, you know, but hey, I'll have a damn good try to make it as good as I possibly can. So enjoy your modelling. You know, don't be put off by the detractors and the people that want to take over the community to their own ends. Don't be put off by it. You know, there's a few out there that can take themselves too seriously. You know, but that can sometimes spoil it for the rest of them. You know, especially new people coming in learning. You know, they don't need none of that. But hey, I ran over. Got a few people to go on it. Oh, pardon me, belching there. Got a few people to go on this and all. Originally, I was going to put a bus shelter in and a chair. And I built a little mock-up of a bus shelter from the era and shoved it on there and stuck the bus on there, and half of it obscured the bus. It just, I don't know, it just didn't seem right. So that got parked to one side, and I thought, well, I don't know, simple little post poking up and a crowd of people, you know, just yattering away, doing their thing, queuing up, I thought would work a bit better. I've got my no-armed bloke left over, so I'll probably bury him in amongst the crowd. I might make him a couple of arms out of a bit of milliput, bless him. But his arms were sacrificed for the bus driver, if you remember back in the earlier videos. I amputated his arms for the bus driver because he didn't have arms where I wanted them. Tiny little bit of bleed through. I expected that. Again, at this stage it's getting the yellow down. Should use Tamiya tape on that. Look. Yeah, go yeah, thereabouts. Yeah. Survey says. But then this was the most careful of paint jobs I did, let's be honest. So let's get the lines down at this stage. And then I can go over it all with a bit of black, because that's a bit cruddy, to be quite honest with you. I think I went a bit OTT with the paint there. So we'll let that all dry, and then I'll have a touch up on that. I can't live with that, but you get my drift. That's pretty much what we're after. Yeah. Damn, that's awful. Let's just have a looky-loo just to see how the darker paint will interact with it. Would help I shook the jar properly, wouldn't it? Have a look. Savable. Yeah, we can recover that. I just need to let me yellow dry. Yeah, I could live with that. She's got to have a wash put over it yet as well. And then various bits of engine oil and detritus that will be on the road surface from buses that have pulled in the bus stop. You know, they all had oil leaks, crud coming off of them at various points. All of that lot's got to be added. That's what I mean by this is just its first initial coat of paint. It's just to get an idea of where things are going to sit. But it's just simple at this stage, just simple little bits. Is all we're doing. And that's the plug that the bus is going to sit in to get its power. So, all in all, we are beginning to take shape. So I'm going to let my yellow paint dry. I've had a little dab there and I seem to be getting ahead of the game there. So I'm going to let that dry, I think, just to be on the safe side. So I can give this pavement a quick, let's move my cup out of the way, I'll give the pavement a quick larrapin, bit of light grey on there. Try and get that to have a coat of paint, because then it will let me see how much more filling I need to do on my gaps in the pavement. So, we'll give this a little initial dab. Sorry for not talking to you peeps. I'll probably put a bit of music over this bit, just to keep you all occupied and speed up the actual video a bit. All I'm doing is just dressing up the lines as best we can, whilst maintaining a slightly frayed edge, because at the end of the day, if you look at these lines on the road, they're not ruler straight. You know, they do have bits missing out of them, they do have blobs and lumps and bumps and chunks, so you just get it as approximate as you want. That's all I'm doing. I'm just cleaning up the edges, still leaving a few little bits intentionally, just so that it looks like the guy stopped and rolled a fag, or I don't know, bent down to pick something up off the floor, or, you know, spotted a nice young lady and he thought, hello, she's nice. Watched her walk up and down the street like they used to. So let's just say he was distracted. Don't want to offend anyone. That's not what I'm about. If I have, then apologies. Slap a little bit of random paint in there, because some of the underside is beginning to creep through where I've been rubbing over the surface with me wrists. But again, this will all get a coat of varnish when I'm done. So, a few little bits left in there. Let's just come around and catch you. Like so. Just go for a little leaner Rooney on there. Bring that edge in. Like so. Just clean you up just a smidge. Like so. So, all in all, not too bad. Just a few little scragglers. Pardon me, I do belch, I'm so sorry. Spider pig has reared his ugly head again. Right. That's enough of that for a minute. So I think you get the idea anyway. That is the first stage of getting the bus stop in. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what I'm doing. Let's just change the angle of the camera a little for you. Sorry about this, people. So, there you go. It's looking reasonably good. The trouble is, it's so big. There you go. It is quite a big piece. So getting it all into a shot is problematic. I'm going to leave it there. Let that all dry now, and then I'll come back, probably put in the word stop or whatever, so it looks like we're only halfway along. And then a bit more work on the pavement, and then I'll start working on some of these little people. Just dress them up a little bit, give them a bit of life, and they'll be ready to go in the corner there, and it's going to be battery pack in and test everything, and then I'll give me frame of paint a frame, Wally, and this piece will be done then. So I reckon another episode. I'll condense a lot of the footage down, stay boring you to death, and I think this one will be done then. So thanks for watching, and we will catch up in a moment. Bye bye.